Hello all, welcome back to Ma Gurukul. Happy Friendship Day to all of you who's watching this video. Today being Friendship Day, I wish each and one of you, each and every one of you, a happy Friendships Day. Alright, so I'll just put a small photograph where my son is celebrated along with his friends. And today's topic, I want to talk to you people regarding something which majority of us will not want to talk about. All right, of course it's not about menstrual cups or menstrual cycle, don't worry, it's not about it. But it is about substance abuse. Substance abuse is especially substance abuse in children, in school going and college going children. Yes, I've been a teacher from 2009. My first batch, I handled class 10. The first batch I handled, me handling class 10 was in 2009. And that batch passed out with flying colors, with good results, and all that. From there, of course, every batch passes out with flying colors. So my first batch was that. I was pretty close to that batch, and of course, I stay attached to many of the batches, not if not all, a majority of the batches which I've handled. So 2009 to 2015, I handled class 10 children. So that is 9, 10, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 7 batches. Yeah. So I've been a teacher for them. Unfortunately, or fortunately, fortunately, because the results were good. I had 100% pass percentage all the 7 years in both my environmental studies for ICSC, biology for ICSC, and biology for state. Of course, biology as such doesn't come as one particular marks. It comes as science. So 100% result in it. But I used to always contemplate and think that the results were extremely good. I'm talking from my point of view, not about any other teachers who have handled those batches, or any other teachers who have been handling the 10th standard or high school batches even now, all over the world, when your people are teaching children, right? So it is from my point of view. I want to ask each one of you this question, or each one of you to ponder over this topic, right, or think about it. Even the parents and the management who are running the schools, whether it's a preschool or the middle school or the high school or the colleges, or teachers, parents, and well wishers. All right, anybody who is related to children, handling children, this question is for each one of you. Why don't we have a moral science class in their timetable until they are 21? Yes, I'm asking you this. Why don't we teach them something called as moral science? Now, moral science doesn't mean it's only Ramayana, Mahabharatam stories and all that. No, I think we should start introducing this subject back into their curriculum, in a in an activity based method or in a fun way learning method. They need to have this. They really need to have this. Especially this I am emphasizing more in primary schools or lower primary schools, middle schools, and high schools also not to be forgotten, right? Now, since I was handling high school, I've handled primary also, primary, middle school, and high school. I've handled all of these. Yeah, and now, recently Guwahati, my experience with pre-primary, that is nursery. So nursery till class 12, I've handled children, and I know slightly. I know about their behavioral patterns, right? So when we the best age to mold them or groom them is the pre-primary and the primary, right? That is what I have experienced. Because when they grow up and become mature, or when they grow up and come to high school, that is they start listening to whom they feel or whom they get attracted to, whom they like. Especially, okay, I like this teacher, so whatever she says, I'm gonna do it. And that is when they will actually start having, this is my favorite teacher, majority of them, this is my favorite teacher, I don't like her, and all these likes and dislikes. It starts off from class 7 and goes on till class 12. And in BSc, they are mature enough to know that, okay, there's no like or dislike, I need to learn the subject, so I learn it. Because by then they've chosen what subject they need to choose, right? Or they need to do their or pursue their career. Now, what I'm trying to ask you is, or tell you is, that although I was a teacher who probably got 1 or 2 hundreds in EVS, but I faltered. I failed as a teacher when I come to know that the batches I have handled, at least 1%, that means 2009 batch, 1% of the batch is got used to substance abuse. The percentage of children getting used to substance abuse in the 2015 batch I have handled has increased from 1% to 2%. So that means in the years I'm handling, and majority of the parents are not aware about it, and the ones who are aware about it are not able to handle the situation. Now, substance abuse, I mean, is getting used to cigarettes, alcohols, drugs. Yes, I'm talking about drugs specifically. Now, cigarette and alcohol is something which is very, very common these days, and children do this only for their status. I mean, like for example, they have been bullied if they have not been doing it. You don't know to smoke? Don't tell me. See, we do it. So, they are doing this for their to just show off to their friends, or to probably remain in the group, so that if they don't do that, they're excluded from the group. There is a lot of things that the children are facing. Now, I actually don't know to whom to blame this. I mean, are the teachers to be blamed? Are the schools to be blamed? Are the parents to be blamed? Or are the environment around them or the community around them to be blamed? Whom are we supposed to blame? If you ask me, the answer is nobody. None of us can take a blame and tell you are the one person who is made my child like this. All of us have faltered. That means it is our collective effort as a parent, teacher, community, school, environment, surrounding. All of these matters, right? Friends, family, everybody matters in the upbringing of children, and especially when they are in adolescence age. Now, I have come to know. Now, yeah, you might ask me, how are you aware about it, right? I'll tell you, when we had surprise back checkup, this happens in high school especially, but these days from high school it has gone to class 6 and 7. Whiteness, using of whiteness to the children needs to be stopped. If you don't know, that is where the children start getting used to substance abuse, using of whiteness. They just take a slight, they just take the whitener and rub it onto their fist and then try to sniff it. I have seen this when the children have handled. We have had surprised back checks in the school, and we have asked the students that the whiteners are banned. Things have happened around, of course. But then everywhere I'm not telling only in one particular state it is more. No, all over India, all over the world, this is happening. Substance abuse is increasing to a very, very large extent. Now, on Friendships Day, so this is my request to the parents, to the teachers, to the well-wishers of the children, that you need to be a friend to your child only when they are in the adolescence age. Only when they are in the adolescence age. Now, that doesn't mean that you are not a friend to them when they are young. No, I don't know if I will be pronouncing, or if I will be telling this shloka or not shloka. I have heard it somewhere and it's just there in my mind. A Sanskrit one. It says Lalayet Panchavarshani. Mane Panchavarshani means 5 years. Lalayet means you give love and affection to the child till they are 5 years old. Right? Tadayet Dasavarshani. When they are 10, and if they are doing something wrong, there is no way you pamper them that time. Until they are 10 is where the parents or the teachers need to be strict with them and tell, no, this is wrong and this is the way it has to be corrected. There is no point to keep pampering them all through their life, because that also is very harmful for them. Alright. So Lalayet Panchavarshani, Dasavarshani Tadayet, Prapte tu Shodashe Varshe Putram Mitram Avadacharet. Mane, once they start getting into the adolescence age, you need to treat them as your friend. So this rule should be followed by all of us, whether it is the parents or the teachers. Yes, we give them love, we give them or bring them up nicely until they're 5 years old. After 5 years, start having before 5 also. That means 5 years doesn't mean when he is 5 years 10 months. No, 4 years 11 months, 4 years 11 months, and the 365th day only you are gonna lalay it. I mean, you're gonna give them a lot of affection and bring them with love. And the moment they are 5, start having and start telling them, say, this is what is the rule of the house. You need to have the rule of the house, that you are not gonna, there should not be any bad words used in the house. And behavior of the child, that the child starts telling their grandparents or their parents calling in singular words, that also needs to be corrected. Because there is a strong saying that a strong belief that majority of the psychologists also agree, that the behavior of the child which is at 5 will continue till he is 50, right? Or I mean, no, not only till 50, I mean, it's gonna continue. Certain behaviors need to be checked when they are young. I have seen parents, I've seen grandparents not correcting their children, because telling, no, my child will never do this. My child is really very good. Yes, your child is good, but when he does something wrong, put your feet down and tell them, this is not the right way, and this is not acceptable. Have a schedule in your house. Now, schedule meaning, say for example, this is the time when everybody needs to be inside the house. This is the time when all of us are going to eat together. This is the things which is allowed in the house, and this is the thing which is not allowed inside the house. Like for example, say yes, by 7, like for example, I have a rule in my house, 7 o'clock all of us have to be inside the house. There is no way we go around roaming around on the street after 7. No. And if we are stepping out, it has to be something, or rarely on a special occasion. This rule was there in my house, and I grew up like that. And this rule was there in my grandparents' house. My mother grew up like that, right? 7 o'clock. I had my grandfather still, and he still insists us that 7 o'clock is where, whether it is a boy or a girl, a man or a woman, a grandfather or a grandmother, anybody in the house, they are supposed to be present in the house, inside the house. Now 7 doesn't mean you have to follow 7. You people decide on a time. By that time, all of you have to be in the house. Now why? I have seen one example with my own, in a place, right? The parents are extremely good. They have brought up the child extremely well, but the son who, the girl, of course, the girl was always inside, and good in artistic skills, so she wasn't like that. But the son used to reach home at 11 o'clock in the night, 11:30 in the night, sometimes at 1 in the night. So imagine the mother not falling asleep, waiting for him to come to home, and waiting for him to serve food. I said, no, this is not right. Stop it. Please, whether it's a boy or a girl, have a rule and tell them, say, this is the time you're going to come, beyond which the doors are closed. Or you tell them, beyond which you tell us where you are, we will come to you and pick you up from there. They can't be traveling at 1 or 12:30 or at a particular time in the night, and then having sleep disturbances for yourself. Won't be working, especially when you are growing older. Alright, it's not good for them too. One thing. Second one, if you're too very close to your children, very very friendly, and if you're too very strict, right, both of the cases, the children will falter. Yes, I have seen my students do that. I was recently surprised when I heard that one of my student whom I have taught was extremely good in studies, and the parents were extremely friendly with him. Today I hear that the child has got used to substance abuse, and so much so that the parents are not aware about it. All right. But then see, that is what I tell, if even if you're too close, you're too friendly, it is a mistake. And if you're too very what do you call, too very strict, it's a mistake. There should be rules and regulations in the house. There should be relaxations in the house where your child can come and share with you, and also feel that yes, I can share everything with my parents, but at 10 o'clock in the night I need to get back home, right? Or 8 o'clock in the night we have to have a family dinner, I need to go back, I'll go back home, right? Or you can have your friends drop into your home, party, do everything, but then there should be rules and regulations in the house. There should be do's and don'ts in the house for everybody in the in the family, right? um, yes, so try and see. Now I don't know whom to blame, because the teacher can't be blamed, because when the teacher is handling 8th 9th 10th, you know the syllabus, you know that the child is coming there only for say 6 hours, only the teaching period I'm talking. I don't calculate the traveling time at all. So 6 hours, in those 6 hours the parents want to make sure the teachers teach them maths, science, social studies, English, and EVS, PT, art and craft. And some certain times you also want the school to teach them extracurricular activities like football or singing, dancing, dramatics club, debate, etc., etc., right? Fine, the schools will be doing that. But then putting the pressure onto, not pressure, but putting the responsibility onto the teacher to teach them moral science is not at all right at that point of time, because their portions will be so much. And we are still a result oriented we still follow the result oriented education system. So no way we can reduce the portions or let go of it and start a moral science class. I don't know whether it's possible, but then it's a request from all the to all the schools who are running the pre-primary, the primary, the middle school, the high school, and the colleges also, to have somehow a moral science class to them, or a class, if not a moral science class, probably something where a counseling session, or a free an activity session where they can voice out what is happening in them, because there is a lot of bullying happening at that particular age. Now this happens even with girlfriends and boyfriends, I mean having girlfriends and boyfriends. I have seen this in school, when a child comes and tells you, I don't have anybody. I mean, this child is saying, huh, you don't have anybody, what are you? I mean, they start using all abusive words, or they start teasing the child that she is good for nothing, he is good for nothing, he doesn't have a girlfriend yet. There are a lot of things which happen at that particular age meaning adolescence age especially. And they need to have somebody in the school where, or in the house, where they can talk this all about, right? So this is what I've been bullied with. This happens even with the size of the penis they have, the size of the breasts they have, the way they look. All this is included in it. Yes, you might feel, what am I talking, but this is what it happens, right? So we need to talk to our children now, especially when the schools are not there. Maybe they are not getting exposed to all this, but inside, locked up inside the home, what happens is they're not able to vent out their feelings and emotions. They might have enormous number of feelings, enormous amount of emotions, not trying to let it out. Now this is going to affect them again. So lockdown time, when the children are not getting exposed to the school, exposed to their friends, not having their own gala time, the only request is spend some time with your children, try to sit and talk to them, try to sit and see, I mean talk to them about what feelings they are having or undergoing, with patience and like a friend, right? And yeah, don't judge them. Whatever they want to talk, let them talk. But then if you have a child who is from 5 to 10 years old, that is the age where you need to have your rules and regulations, and try to correct the child whenever he or she is wrong. Like for example, say if the child is always finding fault in the other child's doing, tell them, see, it is not right. Maybe you are right, you have observed something correctly, but then you might also be hurting them. He's made something good or she's made something good, so try to check that. Or say, for example, say when they're playing, all of a sudden they are getting into a fight. That this happens with my child also. I'm not telling my child never does. My child also is like that. Every child is like that. If they don't do all this, then they're not called children at all, right? Or when the children start using abusive, not abusive words, but bad words or words which is not acceptable, like for example, say terming somebody as bad, he is bad, or loose, or any simple terms, or stupid, or idiot, or anything like that. This I have observed even when I was teaching class 4. Children start using 4-letter words, which is not at all acceptable in the school. And when we call the parents, then the parent immediately says that my child is so sweet, he is learnt it from the other child. And if you call the other child parent, the other child parents repeat the same thing, that we don't use such kind of words. I don't know from where they are learning. They're learning from the school. Now imagine school, no teacher will come and tell you they use this word, all right? So I don't know. So no, as a parent, you should be accepting if there is a mistake done by your child. Ki, yes, my child might be very sweet, very nice, he's well behaved, he's well mannered, but he is capable of doing this, and I need to correct it. And if my son has done this, I should be teaching him, or not only son, I mean the daughter has done it, or the children, I mean if your child has done it, then you should be correcting it. If you don't correct it between 5 to 10, never expect them to change their behaviors after that. I'm seriously telling it. I'm really telling it. They might become well behaved in front of you, but behind your eyes, and when you are not around, they might not be the same. Not be the same. All right. So please look into this, or please give time to your children, and try to, if you have adolescents in the house, try to talk to them, try to give time to them, and try to make them strong. I'm telling you again, if you are too close to them, and if you bring up your children without scolding, without telling no, I don't like this concept of this English concept, or this concept in YouTube where they tell never say no to your child. No, I really don't agree. Imagine if I'm saying no to a child, and I bring up my child like that, trying to give reasons and all that. When he or she grows up, say for example, when he or she is in college, he's gone to ask something, and then for some permission, or for some letter, or maybe his girlfriend or boyfriend gone to propose, and here's a no. Will he accept it? I don't think so. We should bring up the children by saying no. We need to tell them, but not in a harsh way, but probably giving them reasons. See, this is not acceptable, this is acceptable. Right? There should be no used to them. They need to accept it. They need to, but for using no for every damn thing or everything what they are doing, then that is again, that would be a mistake. Right? And yeah, bringing children without scolding, that also I don't promote it, or I don't accept it at all. What are we talking about? I mean, imagine you and me, have we been brought up like that without scolding? Of course, our we might look back and tell that our parents were wrong, that's not the way to bring up the children, we are right. No, I don't agree with that. They were right for their generation, and we might be right for our generation, but we might be wrong also with our generation. That's the reason our children these days, the percentage of children taking extreme steps is increasing. The percentage of children getting used to substance abuse is increasing. The percentage of children, of course, positive side, getting seats in IITs and IIMs are also increasing. Right, but the percentage of children not able to handle pressure is also increasing. So everything matters. We need to check everything. We need to correct ourselves where we are going wrong, and we need to appreciate ourselves also when we are doing something right. So this is what I'll end this video here, because it's too very long already. Yeah, so on account of Friendship Day, this is what I would like to tell the parents who are having adolescents at home. You be a friend to your child. adolescents parents having adolescents children only I am talking about. If you have children who are less than 5 years old, give them love and affection, care, and bring them up in a positive environment. If you have children who are between 5 and 10 or 12, then please have put your feet down and tell, this is acceptable, this is not acceptable, this is the rule of the house. Yes, you need to do that, right? Yes, so this is it, right? So happy friendship day, happy friendship day to all of you once again. And if you do like this video, please do like, share, and subscribe. And bringing up children is nobody's responsibility, no one person's responsibility. It is a collective responsibility of each and everyone around the child. It is the responsibility of the parent, the teacher, the community, the environment, the nannies who take care of them, the grandparents who take care of them, the family around them. Everybody is responsible, right? So never blame one person if the child is wrong, and never take the credit of one person if the child is done very good, extremely good in life, right? So take care, see you. And if you do like this video, please do like, share, and subscribe, and forward it to your friends who have adolescents, children especially, right? So see you, and bye bye with the next video.